Hello, hello. Welcome to Top Shelf Backpacking Trail Fails. Today we're up here at Devil's Rest, where I'm going to tell you about the time I got the most lost out on trail. So 15-20 years ago, I attempted Devil's Rest. I had day hiked Angel's Rest numerous times, and had heard Devil's Rest was even more of a butt kicker. Told there are no views up here, at least not back then, because it was just kind of a wooded mound above the Columbia River Gorge. So I went with my map compass that I didn't necessarily know how to use, and some printed directions, think MapQuest style, and was well aware the trail was kind of unmaintained, and connections were not always obvious, trails were not always obvious or well marked. So the first bit up to Angel's Rest, very uneventful, and probably the next half mile or so up Devil's Rest, pretty obvious. Then I came to a spot where, according to the directions, the trail disappears, but you need to look for blah 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 signs, and you will find your way. Eventually I realized I can't be as near to Devil's Rest as I want to be, and it was definitely nowhere near a trail. And as I came to see a house off in the distance, and I knew, boy, I must really be off trail, I came across a road, which I knew eventually took me up to Larch Mountain, the top of it, Sherrod's Point. Now, I was not in any kind of shape to actually hike that kind of distance, but I saw on my map, based on where this house must be, that if I hiked down the road a little bit, there was a connector trail that would then take me back down to Angel's Rest. So I decided, instead of making a left toward the house, I'd make a right, look for this trail. If I didn't find it, I would backtrack toward the house, which had cars in the driveway and everything. I assumed they would be able to help. No cell reception or anything at this time, so I wasn't able to pull up a Google map or anything. But based on my map, my printed map, thankfully I had, I knew roughly where that house should be and where the trail was. So thankfully I was able to get back onto a trail, which I was able to find on my map. I did hit a connector that would have taken me to Devil's Rest, but at this point I was probably an extra 2 miles worth of off trail, and bushwhacking, so not just, unmaintained trail, but creating my own trail, and I was beat. So I hightailed it back down to Angel's Rest and probably made my best time ever getting down that trail. Now here we are years later. I finally took my first map and compass course, learned how to use them a little better. Thankfully the trail is now much better marked, not necessarily maintained everywhere, but maintained enough and tied into all trails. It was pretty easy to find my way up here to Devil's Rest, and then I will continue on to a loop. We'll meet up with the Joaquina Trail and then get back over to Angel's Rest. So even though I didn't necessarily know how to use the map and compass to triangulate my point, which would have been tough in a bunch of woods anyway, I was able to use it to figure out which way was north, which way the trail was that I needed to get to, and I had a map so I could actually see the trail to go get to it. Now thankfully, out in the Columbia River Gorge, especially in this section, if you hike north enough, you hit the river. If you hike south enough, you hit Larch Mountain Road. So it should be a little tough to get lost, or lost and lost for good kind of thing, but definitely easy to get off trail. So always recommend having a map and compass with you and just knowing kind of general geography, so if you do get off trail, you can help kind of navigate your way back to where you need to be. Hopefully the rest of this trail doesn't turn into an episode of Trail Fails, but for more information on the trails you see on this channel, visit topshelfbackpacking.com. And until I see you again, cheers.